Hence, let's start with the rapid revision of all the bones of the human body. Let's start with the skull. The skull, there are the primarily bones on the top of the skull, which are this is the frontal, this is the parietal, this is the occipital, this is the temporal. Frontal, parietal, occipital, temporal. The ethmoid bone is this one. This one is the ethmoid bone. Okay, and the sphenoid bone is at the back side here. This is the sphenoid bone. Ethmoid, sphenoid. Then you got the nasal. This one is the nasal bone, nasal. Then the lacrimal bone is present right here. Then the zygomatic bone, nasal, lacrimal, zygomatic. And the inferior nasal concha is located here at the inside of that nasal cavity. This is the vomer bone, vomer. And the palatine bone is also located at the below these parts. Okay, the palatine, vomer, palatine, and this is the maxilla. This full part is the maxilla. Okay, this is the maxilla, vomer, palatine, maxilla. Then you got this part which is moving, which is flexible, that is the mandible. Okay, this is, we are done with the human skull. Okay, now let's move on to the pectoral girdle, the pelvic girdle, and the thorax region. So let's start with the spine first. At the spine, this is the C1, that is the atlas, C1, C2, C3, C4, C5, C6, C7. Then you got the thoracic vertebrae, which is 12 in number, up to this 12. And then you got the lumbar, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 lumbar vertebrae. Then you got the sacrum and then the coccygeal. Okay, so coccygeal bone. Okay, so this is the vertebral column. Now, important information for thoracic vertebrae is that from each thoracic vertebrae, a pair of ribs is coming out from the both sides. As you can see, a pair of ribs is coming out from the both sides and the first 7 of them is getting joined independently with the cartilage to the body of gladiolus of the sternum, whereas the last 3, there is a mistake here. Okay, the last 3 is getting joined and getting fused to a cartilage which is independently then joining to the body of gladiolus of the sternum, and the last 2, which are the floating ribs, are being floating, they are not joining the sternum. Okay, so the first 7 ribs, let us rewind again. The first 7 ribs is joining the sternum as the body of gladiolus. Okay, then the 3 ribs are joining, fusing. These ribs are known as the false ribs. Okay, and the last 2 pairs of ribs, which is known as the floating ribs, are floating. Now this is the anatomy of the sternum. This is the manubrium, this is the body of gladiolus, and this is the xiphoid process, XIPHOID, xiphoid process. Now let's go to the pectoral girdle. The pectoral girdle is formed by 2 bones especially. This is the scapula and this is the clavicle. The clavicle is a kind of S-shaped bone. As you can see, this is the S-shaped bone, whereas this is the scapula. Scapula is consists of this is the spine of the scapula, as you can feel it right here. Okay, and then this is the coracoid process and this is the acromion process. Okay, now the clavicle of the scapula forms a type of cavity here which is known as the glenoid cavity. As you can see here, this is the glenoid cavity. Here the head of the humerus attaches. This is the head of the humerus, whereas this is the humerus. Okay, so this is the pectoral girdle. Then let's move on to the pelvic girdle. Pelvic girdle is formed by mainly 3 pairs, 3 3 bones. First bone, this is the ilium, this is the ischium, and this is the pubis. 3 bones form a cavity here which is known as the acetabulum, where the head of the femur gets attached. That's just like this, like this. The head of the femur gets attached. Okay, so okay, now these 2 coxal bones, collectively these whole bones of the pelvis is referred to as coxal bones. These 2 coxal bones are joined by a cartilage which is known as pubic symphysis. Okay, this cartilage is known as the pubic symphysis. Another important point, the cartilages which are present in between 2 consecutive vertebrae is referred to as the intervertebral discs, as you can see. Okay, done. These are especially performed during movement. Okay, done. So now let's move on to the hand part. Okay, hand arms part. This is the humerus, this is the humerus, this is the radius, and this is the ulna, and you can see the carpals. This is the metacarpals, and then you got the proximal phalanges, the medial phalanges, and the distal phalanges here. Okay, The carpals include different types of bones like hamate, pisiform, capitate, lunate, scaphoid, triquetrium. Many types of bones are there, which you can find out on Google. Carpal bones. Okay, these are the bones of the human body, especially in the thorax, the pectoral girdle, and the pelvic girdle, along with the hands. Now let's move on to the femur, the tibia, and the fibula. Okay, this is the femur, which is the longest bone in the human body. This is the anatomical position of the femur. The behind there is type of uh, line type of projection, which is referred to as the linea aspera, which is at the behind. Okay, like this, it is standing. Okay, so this is the femur, and this is the patella. Patella is a sesamoid bone, and this is the head of the femur. This is the head of the femur, the greater trochanter, lesser trochanter. Okay, now this is the shaft of the femur, you all know. Okay, there, if we cut the bone, we get different ossification centers. The primary ossification center, secondary ossification center, different types. Now, this is the tibia. Okay, this is the tibia. Okay, this is the fibula, tibia fibula. Now you get this one. Now the tarsals. Tarsals. This is the calcaneus bone. These are the tarsals. Okay, tarsals includes trapezium, trapezoid, that type of bones. Okay. Now you got the metatarsals, the proximal phalanges, the medial phalanges, and the distal phalanges. One important point to remember about the muscle, which I remembered now, that is the distal phalanges is moving because of the muscle known as flexor digitorum profundus. So done. We are completed with our bones part. All the bones of the human body are completed. Thank you for watching.